Hey nerds, welcome to episode 62 of the Nerd Rundown podcast. Coming up this week on the show, we have the return of Brett D. King. The crew talks about Daredevil and Kingpin returning to the MCU. Brett wonders, how old is James Cameron? Meg is hyped for some Nicolas Cage news, and the gang talks about what 80s sci-fi movie should be remade. Ready, hit it!
Hey nerds, welcome to the late to be released episode of the Nerd Rundown podcast, where our lives lately have gotten in the way of us covering the latest in the nerd world of movies, TV, and more. And so I apologize for the tardiness in this release. I'm your host, Darren Simple. With me today, first, is my co-pilot, Eric here.
Greetings, fellow nerds.
That's right. Back after living his best life on vacation and on the golf course, touring the country, Morgan Santo.
Hello, everybody.
I feel like for your return, that was just a big letdown. You had
I'm
so much time to prepare.
I'm underwhelmed.
I'm very underwhelming, Morgan.
I'm sorry.
Please welcome back the lady of the show, Megan Bradbury.
Yes.
Hello.
And making his triumphant return to the show, Brett D. King.
Holler.
Holler. That was like the most white guy thing you could have said. Eric and I welcome.
We got a banana in my tailpipe.
With open arms. Welcome back, you three. Banana.
Good to be back.
I think that took like a while to get into my head. So we welcome you back with open arms, all of you. You, the listeners and voyeurs alike, can find us on our social media like Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, all at the Nerd Rundown. While you're there, please hit those like and subscribe buttons. Leave a comment. Big shout out to Galveston. It's just the name on YouTube. Great comment. Really appreciate that. Recently, Tracy Bitner has been stepping his game up on the comments. It's a lot of fun interacting with you all online. So thank you. Thank you very much for your input and your feedback. We welcome all of it, especially if it sucks. Let us know. We'll change. Yeah. And then obviously you can listen to us on all the other major podcast services. Got a sizable rundown of kind of like nothingness, but also some kind of big stuff. It's a weird. You'll understand when we get to the end. I think with Comic-Con coming up in a couple weeks, I think studios are holding their big reveals, their big trailers for Comic-Con. So I don't want to say we're left with table scraps because some of this is definitely exciting. And right off the bat, we'll start off with some Netflix to Marvel MCU updates. This past week, we've gotten confirmation that Daredevil, played by Charlie Cox, and Kingpin, played by Vincent D'Onofrio, are confirmed to appear or reappear, maybe, in the upcoming Disney Plus series. We've got a big rumor going around. Jessica Jones is appearing in She-Hulk, now called She-Hulk Attorney at Law. And we also got word or rumor that Finn Jones as Danny Rand, the immortal Iron Fist, will not be reprising his role as that character, as the aforementioned character, at all. Doesn't matter what show. And no word on Luke Cage yet, whether he's going to come back or not. I'm certain that he is, as he was a big hit, more so than the Iron Fist. But I'm going to start with a man who hasn't been on the show for a while, bring you back on. Good to have you back on there, Brett D. King. What do you think about the Netflix to Marvel MCU updates we've gotten in the past week?
I think it's great as long as it's building to something. I don't want to see, Charlie Cox was someone we loved. Kingpin Vincent was someone we loved. What's her name? What's the girl's name that played Jessica Jones? All I can picture is her dad.
I know.
Apartment 22.
Keep
No,
going.
it
I'll
was-
look.
Ritter.
He was
Kirsten
the
Ritter.
B.
Ritter.
Kristen Ritter.
Kristen.
Yeah.
Who's her dad?
He's guy from Problem
John
Child.
Ritter?
John Ritter.
John
Yeah.
Ritter.
John
Wow,
Ritter.
I did not know that.
Ah.
Mind
Problem
blown.
Child.
Okay.
It's a great one.
Really? I did not know that.
I love Problem
Got
Child.
saved by
Yeah.
a dried prune
Yeah.
by the bow tie killer, which was Kramer.
I was one of
That's
that
right.
bed.
The bow tie.
The bet he had was
Man.
so awesome.
Need to watch that movie. I think I just mentioned that movie the other day too. I love that movie.
But I'm glad they're coming back because they were great. What I don't want to see is them become like a sideshow in these other shows because they held their own very well in their own shows, and I don't want them to constantly be in Echo's show or in She-Hulk or the lawyer for Spider-Man. Like they can stand on
Yeah.
their own. They already proved it. I understand maybe introducing them slowly. I just don't want to see this as a trend and then just become a sideshow.
Yeah. 100% agree, especially Daredevil. He's shown that he can have, he can stand on his own in a movie or TV show. He is the linchpin of this group. But Jessica Jones in that first season, that was some of the best Marvel watching I've had. A lot of that had to deal with the bad guy. I don't know, I just know him as the Purple Man. I forget. David Tennant was an incredible bad guy, and Eric says it all the time. You're only as good as your bad guy. So that really helped out. Meg, I'm going to go to you because I know you've been catching up on Daredevil. I don't know if you finished it. I don't know if you've seen Jessica Jones, and you definitely haven't seen Iron Fist. So
No.
quick
Just got
thoughts
the
on.
Punisher in there. Don't forget about him.
Yeah. You need to watch
So-
Punisher.
I put Daredevil on the back burner because we had Stranger Things come out. The Umbrella
Fair.
Academy is now out. Ted Lasso moved up when I had the availability to watch that, so I went through
Fair,
that. So Daredevil kind of
Fair.
got pushed to the back, not because it was bad or anything, but because I know it's there, it's going to be around, and I wasn't like in any rush, to get through it. Vincent D'Onofrio creeps me out so much as Kingpin. He's, very well placed in that role. So it's kind of cool, to see that there's going to be more of that for sure. But it's not, top priority at this point. Although now that I
Yeah.
finished Stranger Things and I'm working my way through Umbrella Academy, I've restarted that. So maybe I'll bump Daredevil back up there so I can get through it.
Where are you at in Daredevil? Do you remember?
Oh gosh, probably like they're very long episodes too. They're like, I think I'm like episode 3, maybe 4.
That's how
maybe
long TV
4.
used to be.
Yeah.
Very good commentary there on Kingpin. He goes back to you're only as good as your villain, which I don't think necessarily applies, but when the villain is as good as Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin, it just makes everything so much better. And then Morg, I know you're a big fan of these series. Thoughts on these updates?
Yeah, I'm not surprised Finn Jones isn't returning. That doesn't shock me. I would like Iron Fist to come back someday, but cast it a little bit better. I don't want them to Disneyfy.
No, it makes
Does that make
sense.
sense?
Works. Yeah.
I know what you mean.
I want Daredevil. I want what was on Netflix just on Disney Plus. That's it. Don't change them. Don't put too much more humor into them than what was already in the show. Like, I want it to stay like that. That's the only thing I'm worried about. I'm fine with the slow introduction. I mean, yeah, he was already introduced, and if you didn't watch Netflix, that introduction of him meant nothing to you because you have no idea who he was.
You mean in
So-
Spider-Man?
Spoiler.
Is that what you meant?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're like
Spoiler
excited.
alert. Yeah.
I was just sorry. You may have lost me on who you're talking about for the introduction. Were you talking about Daredevil? Or
Yeah, his
Kingpin?
intro into the MCU now.
Okay.
The way they did it. If you didn't
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
the Netflix shows, you just had no idea who that
Got
guy
it.
was. It's like, whatever.
He's a really good lawyer.
He's a lawyer that can catch a brick. Cool.
Good lawyer.
Jessica Jones, I never really got into. I know a lot of people liked her and loved the shows. I just never got into it. And obviously, we hope they expand on this. And we get some Punisher back, and I would like to see Luke Cage back. I thought he was good.
Which one do you think? Which was your favorite one? Which was your favorite series?
Daredevil.
Daredevil. Where would you rank that in the series that and the MCU was created?
So all of the MCU stuff, I would put Daredevil over all of it.
Over all of it?
Yeah, Daredevil is my go-to number one comic book show.
Easily my number one.
Yeah.
Loki's like the up there for me in top shows, but Daredevil is just so good. Eric, where would you put Daredevil? I know you've seen
Number 2. I do have it at number 2. So, but I thought the Punisher series was a little bit better. So
I'm with Eric on this one. I just watched the Punisher and I'm like, man, I fucking love Frank Castle.
Yeah. It just was more complete. And maybe that's because we only got 2 seasons of it. I think we only got 2 seasons of it.
Yeah.
So maybe had we had a third to screw it up, it probably would have, not been as good, but those were 2 solid seasons of the Punisher. And we're talking, I mean, we're splitting hairs here. Like both those series are ridiculously good, so it's like 1A, 1B, but I just felt like the Frank Castle was more complete, and his character, he didn't have as good a villain as Daredevil had, with Kingpin, but Daredevil also kind of had other villains that he was kind of wrestling with as well.
Like Frank Castle.
Yeah, right. Including Frank Castle. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's when Daredevil was probably at his best, when it was
I really like the Bullseye stuff. I liked how they ended with
too.
Bullseye.
Yeah.
And I hope that doesn't end.
I hope that comes back.
If you remember a tease at the end, there's a chance that could be where, if he gets his own show, they could pick up from that,
Yeah. I'm curious because I don't know anything about Echo, but I did like her character in the Hawkeye series. I really liked her character. I wouldn't say a soft spot, but I have an affinity for seeing more deaf people like represented in the world, because I just am fascinated by how they navigate, a world where hearing is obviously a vital thing. I've enjoyed the Quiet Place series, with the deaf characters. I've loved I know you guys don't watch Walking Dead, but I've loved what they've done with the deaf characters in that. So just cool. I really do think, but I am with Brett on there. I don't want them to be a distraction from Daredevil and Kingpin, to be a distraction from it's Echo's show. Let's make sure that she's that they're not a distraction from it, and that they're not doing the Jessica Jones She-Hulk thing. I don't know how seriously I'm going to take the She-Hulk stuff, just from what I've seen so far. I don't know whether this is a tongue-in-cheek series or whether this is like legit hardcore, like we're expected to take it like super seriously. So with how sarcastic Jessica Jones's character kind of is, maybe that fits in there well, just because of the type of sense of humor that she has, and just how dry,
and strength versus strength on that too.
Yeah, how just dry she is, and stuff. So the Iron Fist thing, I don't really care.
I like the dynamic of Echo, who can't hear, and then Daredevil, who can't see. So I like to see the dynamic of that. And then Echo, in the comics, she got the Phoenix Force. So I don't know if you ever see anything like that.
That's how they finally bring mutants in. That's some really good takes there. Everybody had really good takes. Very excited for more Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock. Punisher, the TV series, is probably my third favorite. I just rewatching him earlier this year is really, really, really good stuff, and can't wait to see what they do next. We stay in the MCU. We got news this past week that Captain America 4, starring Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson, Captain America, has found its director in Julius Ona, and somewhat of a very small time director. He's directed a couple movies in the Cloverfield Paradox, which probably is the worst reviewed of that Cloverfield series. But his other more recent movie, Lucci, has gotten very high acclaim, very, very high acclaim. So kind of balancing out, a dud with a good. And plot details still haven't been released, but there's rumor that Red Skull's daughter, Sin, could be the main villain, which really excites me.
See what her mom looks like.
Go ahead, Brett. Just take it. You got something. We could talk about Sin's mom.
Who saw Red Skull at the bar and 2 more drinks, and I'm gonna go over there and talk to him.
He's a 2 at 10 and a 10 at 2. That's what.
After a few drinks, you're like, well, that's all that's left.
Man,
Take it
I
home,
wish I
Red
would have known
Skull.
that saying in the army. There, Eric. He's a 2 at 10 and a 10 at 2.
10 at 2.
Tipton would live by those rules. Brett,
He always carried a couple of packets of salt and pepper to chew his arm off in the morning if he had to, but it's, that's what you got to do. Do what you got to do.
He loved it. I'll start with you, Brett, on this one again. Captain America 4, Sin, bad person. Thoughts on where they could take this?
I like Sin. I like the idea of bringing that in, and I like kind of getting back to the roots where it was Captain America and Steven Rogers. His first baddie was Red Skull, and I like the idea of kind of getting back to that route instead of kind of the espionage. I'm fine with it. I hope we can see if they do use Sin. I hope she's working on getting Red Skull back, although I don't know how that would be working. I feel like she's gotta, at some point she'd have to learn that he's still kicking somewhere.
Yeah.
And want to.
He probably got released from his guard duty of the Soul Stone, so he's out there somewhere.
On the desk.
Yeah. Eric, I know you were a big fan of the Falcon and Winter Soldier show, or as it's now called, Captain America and the Winter Soldier show. Where do you think they take Sam Wilson in his first big movie debut?
So I don't know, because it's not an origin story. So, every other character that we've seen from the MCU up to this point has been, for the most part, an origin story about how they got to where they were. So this is going to be really like it's his first operational deal, as captain. And I'm curious to see how they're going to handle no serum, right? So
yeah,
that's part of what made Cap was the unbelievable strength and speed and all that other stuff. And Sam's so are we gonna Tony Stark? Are we gonna Tony Stark it? Is that how, where we have like the Iron Man, Spider-Man type deal, where he just gets like all that stuff. So I don't know, but I'm not down on it, I'm really not, because I loved Sam Wilson, and I loved the Falcon and Winter Soldier series. I'm deeply curious about this, and I don't know where they're going to go in this direction. The director stuff, I watched a little bit of the Cloverfield Paradox. I haven't watched anything of the other ones, so I don't have any commentary on what that means. But the nice thing about like maybe an up and coming director is that you can you're taking a risk, but at the same time you may get somebody in there that can really bring some fresh perspective to a fresh perspective to an older character. Although it's his first time being Captain America, we're refreshing the whole series. So I don't know. That's kind of what my thoughts on it were.
One hill I'm gonna die on at some point in my life is, Captain America. The point of his whole story is that he's he didn't. I mean, yeah, the serum made him strong and fast and all that, but it was always just about him. You know, his specialness was his heart and being a good person, and that's what really inspired people. And I think it'll be really interesting to see a full movie with a character who doesn't have the serum, like Sam. I hope they never give it to him. And I think, you know, the TV show really showed he can hold his own without the serum. Now, of course, he's not going to be able to hold back Thanos, you know, holding that with the Infinity Glove. But you don't have to have huge stories. And I'm not saying this to like say you're wrong in your point, just kind of adding to your point there, Eric, because it is something I see a lot. You know, I follow Captain America news all the time online, and people are just, they say the same thing. So just giving some context to that.
To expand on that point though, this is something that I've had a criticism of the MCU to some extent, and just superhero stuff in general, is that, okay, well, your first major thing was a planet-wide emergency. So how do you dial it up to, you know, from there? Well, now you have a universe, you know, or galaxy level one, and then you've got to go to a universe level, and then it's just overall existence. Like everything is, you know,
then it's multiverse.
So you have to, yeah, you know, like, and now like one universe isn't enough. You've got to go to multiverses to, you know, the you're trying to avoid a catastrophe for multi-universes. So
Yeah.
I don't mind, and I do enjoy a local superhero. We've talked about it. That's what I love about Spider-Man, is he's your friendly local superhero
neighborhood.
You know?
Yeah,
and
friendly neighborhood. Yeah.
Yep, friendly neighborhood. Whatever.
And that's one reason why Winter Soldier was really, really, really good. And you know, it became a more. I know, you know, the whole Shield storyline at the end kind of blew it away, but that movie was a toned down version of it. Was just Cap versus Bucky, or Steve versus Bucky, and Cap versus Winter Soldier. So it was, you know,
and it was fine. Like nobody was like, oh, like if you really didn't have that Shield Hydra twist, you know, towards the end, would the movie have been bad? I don't think so. Like I don't think, like, yeah, it's like, it's the spectacle and all that stuff, but I don't think that movie would have been terrible if you just kept that the way it was, you know?
Absolutely. It could have been maybe even better. So Meg,
we wouldn't have gotten the elevator scene though. That's which is
find a way to get that scene in.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That's the best ever.
And it's one of the best scenes ever. Meg, I know you're not like deep into our, you know, the comics, and so you don't really know the backstory on Sam Wilson becoming Cap. I'm not even sure if you watched Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
Nope.
So I'll ask you this: does this excite you at all?
No, I'm neutral on this. And I don't know any, you know, I haven't watched the Cloverfield at all. So yeah, I'm kind of neutral on this.
More news to come that might get you, or maybe you have to wait for a trailer to get your hype. But Morg, I know you liked the Falcon and the Winter Soldier show. I feel like you said something when I said Cloverfield paradox. I don't know if that like shook you a little.
Yeah, I mean, the whole director thing, I mean, that means absolutely nothing to me. He doesn't have enough behind him, as far as I'm concerned, to really be like, all right, this is going to be awesome. Yeah. I also, like, I liked Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Captain America and the Winter Soldier. I need my Captain America to get superpowers. I'm sorry. Like, Steve Rogers, he was the heart, but if he didn't have powers, he was garbage. He'd be useless.
I can do this all day. All right, Shrimp, so can I. So.
You know, he would have been pointless. Like, yeah, he could lead the team, but the threats they're going up against, like, I know we have Black Widow and Hawkeye, but they always were kind of behind and supportive, whereas Cap was, you know, I'm leading the charge, let's go. I don't know. I just feel like he's got to have some powers to really go against some of these threats that should be coming, as far as we know what's allegedly coming. So I'm interested to see what they do. I think he will get some sort of powers, whether it's by choice or not. I don't know. I'm hopeful he does, but I think I need to see more before I get really excited about it.
I've missed the anti-Morgan. I guess against Oliver.
Wait till we do the presents.
Oh yeah, I can't wait for that. Tune in next to see our review. Obi-Wan Kenobi finally. Next on the rundown, Avatar: The Way of Water is going to feature the return of Stephen Lang as a Na'vi, the blue creatures that he fought against in the first one, and a bit of an anecdote: James Cameron may not helm the 4th and 5th movies of this planned series, as you know, Hollywood loves to get ahead of themselves. So, Eric, thoughts on the Avatar news?
I don't care. So Stephen Lang he's a good actor. I liked him, and I thought he was, he was kind of a badass in that first one, but I don't think it makes a difference. I also heard that Sigourney Weaver is back, but
not as her character.
But not as her character.
Yeah.
She's going to play like she's going to voice a teenager that's like adopted by whoever. I don't know. I don't even know
main
his name
people.
is. Yeah, the main folks.
Sam Worthington.
Yeah, and then again, we're just assuming that 2 and 3 are just going to be dynamite.
Amazing.
And we're going to get a 4th and 5th and all that, and maybe I don't know.
Maybe.
Like
It's hard to doubt James Cameron, right?
Yeah,
But-
I mean, I don't know. Like, so I love James Cameron.
2050 is when we'll find out. So really,
Yeah, right.
That's some time. Morgan, I'll go to you. Stephen Lang return, get you?
I don't care about this movie at all. I really don't. The whole Stephen Lang thing, I'm interested to see how they bring him back, because I mean, those were some big ass arrows he took to the chest. I mean, we're not talking like regular arrows either. Like, I mean, those had to do some damage. And why is he coming back as a Na'vi, which he hates? I mean, maybe that's some form of punishment. Why
Actually, I
is
have an
Sigourney
answer to
Weaver
this.
voicing a child? That doesn't make sense.
That is weird.
That is strange.
I actually
Odd
have
choice.
I have an answer to your
Oh, what's the answer?
Okay, so it's apparently the RDA has found a way to transfer the memories of human soldiers into recoms, Na'vi bodies that now house their consciousness.
Okay.
So somehow they transferred his character's consciousness into a Na'vi body. Na'vi body.
So you're immortal. They figure out a way to be immortal, but you have to be in a giant Smurf.
And this technology must have existed at the time, because
Stephen Lang
also they
says
preserve his consciousness to a body
Eric
that they have
is
attacked.
bigger, bluer, and pissed off. And they released the first official image. And he's pretty big,
right.
dude. He must be really big.
I think that
He must
James
work
Cameron
out.
not coming back for the 4th and 5th is a sign that I don't think this one's going to be what they were going to hope for.
Yeah.
I
that's
think
a
the
good
guy
point.
just will get bored with the series. Like,
I mean, he might be 90 by the time it comes out.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm unsure of his age because he's got to be like a bajillion years old. It took him
He's like
11
Steve Martin.
years.
He's kind of stuck in that, like, how old are
11
you?
years between Avatar 1 to get to Avatar 2. That means we got another 11 years till he decides to do 3.
He'll
by the
actually be
time
on that planet filming
4 and
for
5
the
has
5th.
come out. He'll probably be in the big blue Smurf
Yeah.
with his consciousness.
He's
it'll
currently
probably be a movie
67
about-
years old.
It'll be Avatar 4 James Cameron.
It's just James Cameron.
James Cameron's consciousness being put.
Yeah. And he'll be voiced by
He's-
Sigourney Weaver.
He's 67. He's a perfectionist, man, and I don't know, maybe the studio's getting in the way. Who knows? We got a long time to figure it out. This comes out in December, right? So
Yeah.
we got a lot.
And they're re-releasing
of
the first one in September, right?
Right.
yeah.
To
Well, I
rewatch
was
it.
gonna-
mean, in the
I was going to
theaters,
ask you,
it's
Meg.
stunning.
You saw
Yeah.
I was just
So-
gonna say.
And like, so we just saw Thor today, so we got to see the preview for this again, and it's so fun to watch. Like, I would prefer this to be like a video game or something that you could play rather than a movie that you have to watch. Because it just seems like a
So
fun,
we can play it for you.
yeah, just a fun world to explore. You know, I want to see more of that, but I don't necessarily. I don't know. I'm not excited about the movie, but I just want to visually see everything. It just looks so cool.
I said the same thing coming out of the Thor after seeing that trailer. This movie looks great, and I don't mean it like in the sense of I think the movie is gonna be great. I just think it looks great. Like it's
That's
stunning
how he
on that
is.
big
It's
screen.
pretty to look
James
at.
Cameron.
Yeah.
It is pretty to look at. Yeah, and when has it not been for James Cameron, right, bro? Like it's always.
I just don't know how much his heart's into it. Because I mean, Alita was like one of his dream projects, and he got one, he nailed it, and then he passed it off. So it's like I just don't have any trust that his heart might not be in it by the time you get to 3. By the time you get to the other ones,
Totally. Has he? He's never done a trilogy, right?
I think he
I
gets
forgot
bored.
this.
I think there was a
Terminator.
Titanic too, but
I forgot this was the third one in the series.
I mean, yeah, he didn't he do
Yeah.
Terminator 1, 2, and 3? Didn't he do the third one?
He
Did he-
was.
He might have
Did he
been
do
like a
third?
producer or something.
Yeah, he did. He did produce,
Produced, but he did not direct.
but he did
Is that
not
the one with
direct.
the strong heart? No, that's
No,
The
that was-
lady.
The latest one
was
is
the
the one that
lady
he did.
Terminator.
No Fate or something like that.
Yeah.
whatever the-
He
whatever the
directed No
latest-
Fate.
No, he was a producer
Oh,
on that
yeah.
one. So
I think
like,
he's been a producer on all of them, even Terminator Salvation. I think.
yeah, he directed the first 2,
Two.
1 and 2, and then
Yeah, maybe it might be his first trilogy. Who knows?
I'll believe
Anyway.
when I see it.
Yeah, we got some time. Next on the rundown, we are having a bit of a renaissance in Hollywood from a certain actor. Next on the rundown, we have Nicolas Cage set to play a hard drinking dragon in the upcoming Paramount Plus fantasy crime thriller, High Fire. That is a real headline, people. Morgan, you got a really funny look on your face.
You had me at Nicolas
I'll start
Cage.
with you.
You had me in Nicolas Cage. I don't even need the rest of it. I know whatever follows that is crazy, so I'm in. Come on, a hard drinking dragon. That's just
crime thriller.
I think it's just gonna be
Again.
Nick Cage in dragon form.
I
Like,
think
what-
he's playing himself because
Yeah, he's
dragons
just
collect
himself.
castles and Nicolas Cage collects castles. I think this is just him emerging
Yeah,
as what he believes he always
guard
was.
treasure.
Ready to take his final form.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's a true life story. It's just Nick Cage. I'm pumped.
I am there for it. I will tell you that. I recently watched finally The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, and
Where it's like
he
that
wasn't
one
the
he's
best part
playing-
about it, but he was still very good.
I mean, he plays himself in that one. He probably just thinks
Yeah.
this is just continuation of that.
Did you watch it, Brett?
He didn't know he was
No, I
making a
didn't
movie.
watch it.
Oh.
He didn't even
I
know
really
he was
wanna watch
making a movie. He was just doing his thing.
Yeah. Well,
gosh, kind of a lot's happened, right?
Since then, yeah. Very, very excited to learn more about that hard drinking
So-
dragon crime thriller.
I'm definitely into this now because I'm reading the description and it says, once upon a time, or I'm sorry, this is not once upon a time, this is now, and now all Lord Hellfire rules is his shack in Louisiana's Honey Island swamp. I live like 20 minutes from the Honey Island swamp. So, and I've gone on tours of it a couple of times, so I'm in, totally.
Even better.
You go out at night, can you hear the whispers of Nicolas Cage?
I can't wait to hear his
actually
Cajun
the
accent.
Rougarou. Maybe it's actually Nicolas Cage this whole time.
I can't wait to hear his Cajun accent.
Meg, I don't think you did this description justice. Let me read it from the
Yeah,
top
please
to
do.
bottom. This is pretty incredible. Once upon a time, let me get into my
You
narrative.
got a better voice. Do it in like a theater voice.
Can you put a
Once
Cajun
upon a
spin to it?
time, dragons ruled the earth, and Lord Highfire ruled the dragons from his eyrie. But this is not once upon a time. This is now. And now all Lord Highfire rules is his shack in Louisiana's Honey Island swamp. Highfire has become plain old Vern. And by day, he hides out among the alligators. watches cable TV and drinks obscene amounts of vodka to pass the time. It isn't much of a life, but he's alive to live it. And Vern is prepared to do whatever it takes, even if it's violent, to preserve his own hide. When Vern's world collides with a human teen named Squib, who becomes mixed up in some trouble while running booze for the local mob. Hold on, I'm not done. Their mutual struggle for survival becomes entangled in the most unlikely of friendships. I feel like Nick Cage wrote that description.
Do you think he's going to be in this? How big of a dragon?
I don't
He's
know,
able
man.
to blend in with an
The
alligator.
size of an alligator.
Yeah, like what is that?
I hope at the end he really was just an alligator who thought he was a dragon.
That's what
It's a movie about
be.
identity.
It's going to be about how you can be whatever you want to be.
crisis. It would fit into Marvel's Phase 4 right now. Eric, what does this news do for you?
He's the dragon from Shang-Chi.
It makes me think that Hollywood is completely out of ideas. So
This is something original.
This is
Eric.
original.
you're right. You're right. They scraped the bottom of
This
the
is a
barrel
brand
and
new
pulled it
idea.
out. This feels to me like they were in a room with ideas on a wall, and the guy put a blindfold on and was like, "Hey, just throw this at there, and
Right.
we'll do an actor, we'll do a mythical creature, and we'll do a plot line, and you just throw 3 darts and we'll do it." And they're like,
And a
well,
random
they ended on
application.
a dragon, and then we had fantasy crime is our category, and oh sweet Jesus, it's Nicolas Cage. Like
They're all chugging
This had
vodka
the
while they were
lowest.
doing this.
This had the lowest amount of odds of hitting, and we hit all 3.
I mean, I'd like to know what parents decided that it was a great idea to name your kid Squib.
Well, it's
It's
got to be a
backwards.
nickname. So what is Squib a nickname for? Is that
Well,
short for
Squib Kip
anything?
is a Squib Kip is kick is like a short crap kick that nobody does. So I assume that this kid was something that his parents didn't want.
Yeah, it's a
Under
low
my
risk kickoff that
He's
teams do
running
at the end of a
booze.
half to make sure that the other team doesn't run it back to the other end zone. Sports on the Nerd Rundown. I think we can move on to our trailer train. We got a couple different trailer trains today. We've got a movie trailer train and a video game trailer train. We'll start with the movie trailer train. See if I can say trailer train any more times in a row. First off, trailer for the new Netflix series Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the movie, has been released. I'll start with you, my Ninja Turtle buddy, Brett King. I know you love you some Ninja Turtles. What do you think about this trailer? Does it get you excited for the show?
There's 2 things I guess I would point out. Like, I feel like Ninja Turtles have been very good at being timeless, and every generation it's like they put out a new variation, and I think they've done well in doing that. This one looks like we hit the Powerpuff Girls variation, and I don't mind like the little
Such a good
alterations
analogy.
that they kind of made where they've got mystical powers that look like, and Krang looks like an actual threat instead of a blob.
Yeah.
And I don't mind that. I don't care for some of the switches I guess they've made. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't care for like the new look to April O'Neil, the new idea that even the Casey Jones thing isn't out of reach where he's coming from the future. It's very Terminator X.
Yeah.
I don't hate the thought. It's something that might check out, but it better be good real quick. Because I don't need another Powerpuff Girls that is able to break the 3rd wall and talk to the audience and tell me that this is better be the poster or someone getting fired. Like, I don't need that.
Okay. Good. I like that take about it being timeless. That's a really, really good take right there. Meg, not necessarily probably going to be checking this one out. Maybe. Whoa!
Totally awesome. She's got a mug. This is totally awesome.
Take it away, Meg.
Yeah, it's actually my husband's mug, but he doesn't drink coffee, so it's mine.
Oh.
But no, I do have a turtle
What kind of human doesn't
costume.
drink coffee?
Yeah, I know it's strange, but more for me. So I do have a turtle costume. We dressed up as my favorite is Leo.
Oh, I do think I know.
Now my husband has
Leo's
like
the best.
a full turtle costume.
See
He's
his eyes in
Mikey.
the mouth.
Yeah.
He's got the mask. Like, yeah, it's pretty good. But I like the classic '90s Ninja Turtles. I don't like the new animation style of the Nickelodeon stuff. I didn't really care for the new animation style of this in the trailer. My kids might like it down the line. We'll see if this is what's around for when they're into it. But it's just, this didn't really have me at all.
Yeah. Okay. I get it. I get that. It didn't didn't get my hype up for the show upcoming. I probably might still check it out. Morgan, is this enough to get you to watch it?
So
I mean, you got a cheat code in Carson.
Yeah, I mean, I watched the Rise of Ninja Turtles show that's on Netflix with Carson. So the animation.
This is the movie to that. Right?
This is the movie to the show. Yeah.
I did not know that.
I mean, I enjoyed the show. It was funny. It made me laugh. I've got no problem with it. Like Brett said, they do change it to fit the generation. It's definitely fits this generation. Just nonstop stimulus because that's all kids can handle now.
Yeah.
So it definitely fits it. But I mean, I'm not like, oh, I got to catch this, see it the day it comes out, but I know I'm going to watch it with my son at some point. I think it'll be a fun movie.
You also have a cheat code, Eric. Have you checked out this series?
I have not checked it out. And I'm pretty confident Jackson hasn't watched it yet either. But I may use the movie as because I thought it was kind of cool. I thought the trailer actually looked, like Brett said, like turtles are like a timeless piece, and you just kind of like, it just kind of refreshes itself for what's needed. So I think we'll definitely watch it, and I may use this as a bridgehead to watch the series. So we may watch the movie and then go back and watch the series together and stuff and see how it goes. But I am lukewarm. I will say I am lukewarm on it. Like, I didn't like it, I didn't dislike it for anything, but I think it'll be a fun thing to watch with Jackson. So and maybe even Amelia, she may even like it also.
So real quick, starting with you, Eric, we'll go around the horn. What's your favorite Ninja Turtle?
I am a Raphael. I'm a Raphael guy. Yep. I think we've had this conversation.
I meant, like, what's your favorite movie or show to watch? What's your favorite Ninja Turtle thing to watch?
Oh, well, this is actually embarrassing because I actually loved the Ninja Turtle movie from like the 80s. Like, I know, like
early 90s.
Yeah, early 90s or whatever it was.
I don't know why you're embarrassed, but don't be embarrassed.
Yeah, I loved it.
Is amazing.
Yeah, it was great. It was really, really, like, in a terrible way. Like, it was great. And I
recently watched it with Penny and she loved it.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah.
If you watch it again, it holds up as
it does hold up.
Way
better than you think it would.
I loved it.
Knows what he's doing.
Pause it.
Yeah, he really does. I love puppets. Yeah. Like, I really do love puppets, and I think I think it's a lost art. I think it really is a lost art, and we've had this discussion in a couple of previous episodes of the show where we talk about practical effects. Using makeup for sequences and using puppets for sequences. Like, it's okay. Like, you can do those things, and it looks more real than like a CGI situation, where I'm like, I know that I'm looking at CGI. I look at that and I know I'm looking at CGI. Whereas, like, the Yoda from like Empire, like,
right,
versus the episode 1, 2, and 3 Yodas where he's doing flips and all that other stuff, and it's like, I'm looking at a cartoon. I know I'm looking at a cartoon. I know I'm looking at computer animation. But that puppet, that dude looked real, man. I mean, he had like hairs like going off in all direction, and it was great. So
Yeah, I think they actually for the first time did puppeteering with Rocket and Thor. There was one scene where you don't see his legs and he goes across the screen, and I'm like, man, he looked like a puppet there, and it looked
I just
totally
picture a
different.
Muppet, like
do the arm thing. That's yeah, that's a throwback right there.
Watch this episode.
So we're all in agreement. The first Ninja Turtle movie is the best.
It is.
Yeah.
I still remember watching the VHS all the time. You had that Pizza Hut commercial in the beginning.
Yeah.
Kid playing baseball where the dandelions grow.
Yeah, that's right. And the second one was very good, not nearly as good.
Right. Second one's
well, and for all you Roku people out there, you know, if you have the screensaver set up, they have the Ninja Turtles in like all the
different places.
Screensaver. You can check them out in the screensaver. So
it's one of my favorite things to do is when a new screensaver comes out. Like, there's a new one. There's a romantic one for the screensaver, and it's like there's some hard ones in there.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. Last on the movie trailer is a Clerks 3 trailer, and I'm really sorry that our music man Jason isn't on the show to talk about this because I know he's very excited about it.
Yep.
But love me some Jay and Silent Bob. This trailer got me laughing in a few different places. Start with you, Meg. I don't know if you're a Jay and Silent Bob fan, so I'd like to see what this trailer did for your hype.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've watched first two Clerks. A friend of mine was hugely into them, and we watched them whenever we'd hang out. But it was like, I don't know, is the word, it's so meta, is that the phrase that I want to use?
Yeah.
Like they're making a movie about what the
I think
first
they even
two
say it
movies
in
were
the
about.
trailer. It's like, this is so
Yeah,
meta.
this is so meta. Yeah, so it looks really, really funny. I'm definitely interested to see this, and I Jay and Silent Bob are kind of timeless also. Like they just have evolved throughout the years, and they're still so damn funny. So yeah, I'm excited for this.
Or you could say they haven't evolved one bit, and they're the
Yeah,
same stoner crew.
But they still
Sit
fit
out
in
front of
just
the
fine.
Quick Mart. Yeah, absolutely. Morgan, are you excited for Clerks 3? Yes or no?
Nah.
Okay, bye.
Yeah. I remember watching the first Clerks. God, I don't remember. So long ago. I mean, Jay and Silent Bob are what I like out of it, but I never watched Clerks 2. I just didn't get into the Clerks thing. I like the Jay and Silent Bob more, and I liked when they had their own movie there, but never got into Clerks. I'll check it out one of these days.
Clerks 1 and 2 are two totally different movies, and Clerks 2 is way more like Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back humor.
Okay.
I would check out Clerks 2.
All right.
So, Brett, are you excited for Clerks 3?
It depends. It's one that I'll wait to see some reviews, I think, first, because if they're doing the same humor that they've done from the ones that we love when we were teenagers, yeah, I'll be happy with it. But if they're trying to update it for the new generation, then it's theirs.
Yeah. No thanks. Similar vibe there, Eric? Or
yeah, I'm kind of with Morg. I was a video clerk when Clerks came out, so just so you know. So I was working at Showtime Video at the time, and so I
which was
I
apparently the coolest place to be in Loveland.
It was, yeah, it was like Friday night, man. It was.
My wife tells me about it all the time.
Yep, we used to go to Showtime all the time, and you know, get your VHS and all that good stuff, and I'd have people. When was the last time you checked the box? When was the last time you checked the box? I had people waiting for a movie, you know, to get it and to go out there. And, you know, we used to do this thing where you'd have a stack of movies, you know, and as long as my arm was all the way up to my chin, I'd have VHS movies from as long as my arm would go down, and I'd put them up on the wall and all that. So I enjoyed the first Clerks movie. I enjoyed the Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. But I don't know. Like I'm kind of with Morg. I'll watch it when it comes out on video on demand probably, but I don't know, maybe some point. So yeah.
It is not a babysitter movie.
Yeah, for sure.
Did anyone see the? Didn't they just redo a Jay and Silent Bob movie?
Yeah, the James
It was
Silent Bob reboot or whatever.
Did anyone
Yeah.
see it?
I haven't seen
I have
it.
not.
Jason loved it. So a big Jason
I heard
Bob
it's
fan,
funny.
being
Yeah.
Jason Sparks is, he loved it. But he might be biased in that. So
Yeah.
if you, the listeners out there, have seen the newest Jay and Silent Bob movie, let us know what you thought. Next on or last on the rundown, really, video game trailers. We got two 80s icons coming to the consoles in the near future. First trailer is of Robocop returns in the upcoming game Rogue City, and he's voiced by Peter Weller. So not the Joel Kinnaman.
Does he own the
Robocop.
rights to that?
Say, what's that?
Peter Weller?
Yeah, doesn't he own the rights to it?
To
I don't know.
Robocop.
That's a
to
good question.
Robocop itself?
Yeah, I believe. Yeah,
I don't
I'll
know.
look. You talk. I'll look.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll start with you then, Morgan, being our video
Yeah.
game nerd here. What do you think of the trailer? Does this get you excited for the video game?
The trailer didn't get me too excited. Like, it doesn't look bad, but it just, when I was watching the trailer, I thought it was going to end with it's a VR game. Like, that's what it looked like to me. Like, you know, when you see those VR trailers, like, they're just off a little bit.
Sure. Yeah.
That's what I got. Now, if I don't get a trophy for shooting a man in the penis in this game, what's the point of even making the game?
Yeah, I'd buy that. I'd buy that for $1.
Yeah. I need to find out if that's a trophy before I even get this game.
That's worth my $60 right there.
Yeah, right there, $60. But yeah, I mean, I want to see more. I need to see more gameplay of it before I actually get excited. I'm hopeful. They could definitely make a good game out of Robocop, but
Yeah.
I need to wait a little bit, see something a little better.
Sure. Eric, I watched this trailer and I got an arcade game vibe.
Same.
Yeah.
Good way to put it.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I liked
Even the graphics.
I liked the likeness of the Peter Weller Weller likeness. I did like that it was
That was good.
that was really cool. But other than that, that was it for me on that. Like, and I know that I'm past my my freshness date when it comes to video games. Like, it just takes a lot to get me into something nowadays. I feel like a former drug user, you know, like I've been clean from video games for a while, and so it's gonna take.
What does it feel like?
It's gonna take a really good high to
Chase
get me
that dragon.
to pull me back in. Like I'm like, I've got my 3-year chip, you know, and
It's feeling really heavy in the
Yeah.
pockets.
Go to his house, pick up the controller.
yeah, right. All you got to do,
Just one little game.
Just one little game. That's all it takes.
Meg, I know you're not a video game player. Have you even seen the first RoboCop movie?
Not in a very long time. So no, it doesn't even count to say that I've seen it at all. And I mean, I own a Wii. It's got a red light flashing on it, or actually, I guess it's solid. Yeah. And it hasn't even been on in probably since I plugged it in like 6 years ago when we bought the house. You know, and my video game go-to would be like The Sims or something mild like that. Like,
Sure.
I don't do, shoot 'em up games often or ever. So not really my wheelhouse.
You seem like you would love to do word games on your phone.
Yeah. Also do
Animal
those.
Crossing.
I haven't
You
done
would
it.
probably
No,
win
I've heard
every single Words with Friends or whatever.
Morgan and I used to have some pretty intense Words with Friends games.
Yes.
Yeah.
Morgan was definitely cheating if he was staying up with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I am a word nerd.
I would still wouldn't win.
That makes me happy.
Oh,
I'm gonna
Morgan,
be
how did
honest.
you know that word?
Yeah,
Brett,
I'm
did
a
you
word
find the
nerd for
answer
sure, but-
yet to
I
Peter
did
Weller
not.
owning
It
the
does
rights
not
to
look like he
RoboCop?
owns it. It does not look like he
Same
owns
cap.
it.
Maybe he
kids would say
owns the rights to his own likeness in the Robocop.
I remember it was very strange.
Like if they were
'cause I
going to
remember
make
watching,
like a video game about Robocop and they were going to use the one from the 80s, if they're going to use that one, then he owns the likeness to that. But I don't know if he would own the entire character.
right. It's owned by Orion, it looks like still. But I feel like
Okay.
there was something. I remember seeing.
Oh, I used to
something.
love their intro.
Yeah.
You always
Yeah.
knew you were in for a treat.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That was a solid intro, right?
Yeah.
We should do it. We should do it like a best old time movie intros, because what was it?
Oh, the
TriStar?
the TriStar pictures with the
horse?
Pegasus. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was.
Dun-dun-dun, and then the music build. And the new
Especially
line.
when you got a
I
group of them
love.
together.
Yeah, I love the New Line Cinema, New Line Cinema, which
Mhm.
was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with the
Yeah.
blue background. What was some other really good ones? I mean, Universal's always been a good one with how they use the world in it, like in Jurassic Park.
It's actually. I
Or
think
no,
we-
it was in Waterworld when it
Waterworld,
whole
yeah.
world
That was the
turned
first-
into water.
I want to say that was the first time they'd allowed anybody to change the intro.
the intro.
It had always just been
Could have
the
been,
way
yeah.
it was, and then they melt the ice caps, and
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know. That's cool. Anyway,
I did learn something about Peter Weller here, though,
yeah.
and I think it's a very nice segue if you look it up. Just hop on Wikipedia and look up Peter Weller real quick, and I think it's going to make a very smooth transition for you here in about 30 seconds.
Fill that airtime.
Peter
Hi,
Weller.
baloney.
Peter
has some
Weller.
ETR.
What did you say? Google
Am I
what?
clicking on?
It's Wikipedia,
Wikipedia.
Peter Weller.
Peter Weller, Wikipedia.
And then read the first line, very first line. I feel like it's going to make a very nice segment for you.
Okay. Weller has appeared in more than don't
No,
read it.
you
Ah,
don't gotta
yes,
read it out loud.
Hold on.
Yeah, but what about for
okay.
the listeners?
Yeah, they can
Yeah.
look it up themselves. It's a nice transition for you.
I forgot he was in Star Trek Into Darkness.
Well, we're not going to the nerd box yet.
We got to talk about.
I'm just saying, just hold on to it.
Yeah.
Grab that
Terminator.
jab.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm picking up
All
what
right.
you're putting down.
I get
I
what you're
will
saying.
put a
Okay.
pin. I'm gonna drop it. I'm gonna put a pin in that, Brett, and we're gonna come back to that. I like where your head's at, and we're gonna do that. Yep.
This is why we should do research before the show.
Yeah. Right.
Dang it. That would have been a great transition.
Definitely
Last
live.
on the rundown, we have a Terminator video game, so another 80s icon, but we don't know if it's Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator. It looks like more of something that we've talked about quite a bit, Eric, and let me know if you got the same vibe again. In this video game, Terminator Survivor looks like it could feature a war of robots, but it's an open world game, and you're going to be running for your life, probably, since that's what you do in the Terminator world. So I'll start with you, Eric. I know it's only 25 seconds, but
Yeah, I don't have anything. I don't have anything for it. I looked at it and I was like, okay, I like the idea of an open world Terminator thing. I'm not going to say anything about the video game because I don't have any. There's just not enough there to really give me anything to go off of. I will, however, say, and this is something that my Uncle Frank and I have had multiple discussions on, is the missed opportunity, the continued missed opportunity to show the war with the machines and just stick with that. Like, you don't need the time jump shit right now. You need to show John Connor coming out of the prison, working in the prison camp, and then you've got a trilogy right there. Like, you literally have a trilogy right there where you basically set it in the future where he's maybe laying in bed and the nuke goes off, and then or I don't know, whatever, but you could. It's just been a huge missed opportunity for who owns that one, Warner. It's not Warner Brothers.
Skynet.
Skynet, yeah. I can't remember.
I know who does. It's
who owns that
Elon
one.
Musk buys Skynet.
I
Right.
think it's
Yeah,
20th.
it's probably Elon Musk.
Is it Fox?
Was it Fox? I'll look it up.
I can't remember, but I just feel like it's been a missed opportunity, and this may be a good segue for them if there's genuine interest in it. It might be a good segue for them to get into maybe telling those stories of the future. So who is it?
Warner Brothers.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it was Warner Brothers because I
Which
thought I
has
remember
some weak ass intros.
Yeah, well, the Terminator Salvation was pretty cool with the Warner Brothers logo. Where
I
it was
loved
like,
that.
That was pretty
that
cool.
Movie.
Yeah,
I'm in a very small minority in that.
Well,
I think you are too in that.
I think it's.
I would have loved to see that without Sam Worthington.
Exactly. You delete the Sam Worthington portions of that movie, and it gets better the longer it goes. And I feel the same way about Terminator 3. It gets better the further down the road you go. It's not a good movie, but it's not as bad as you think it is, you know. And I love the shift from being a hardware issue to being a software deal. I think I like that. So
the ending of Terminator 3 is good too.
Well, let me ask then, Morg, what are your thoughts on this game?
I'll wait.
No? Okay.
Yeah, I'm not too into it. I mean, we haven't gotten anything. An open world scares me a little bit. When it's open world, that's too much. I get lost.
I don't know if you're gonna have 3 hours to fish in a Terminator open world, Morgan.
Humans gotta eat too. They gotta eat.
Meg, I know you're not again big video game person, but are you a fan of the Terminator franchise?
When I was little, I did not keep up with them throughout the years since I've, grown up. I forever remember Arnold Schwarzenegger as the Terminator, so I haven't really kept up with the more updated stuff. So should I? Is it worth my time? What little I have to spend on
went through four. So that Terminator Salvation is the fourth one. Anything after
There's
that,
so much more you should watch instead.
Yeah, there really is. That's actually well
That's
said.
what I thought.
Yeah,
so much. I finished Daredevil.
Okay.
Like if it's between like slashing your wrists and watching like Terminator, definitely pick the Terminator stuff. But
think about it for a second.
But it's
there is
it's
a lot better on a lot better.
Understood.
Yeah.
I know you're not a fan, Brett, of open world, but you're a fan of Terminator. So what do you think?
I'll be very surprised if they actually make it open world, because I don't know how you have open world and not just have mass chaos everywhere. I can see it running the lines more of like Dead by Daylight or like the Jason video game, where it's like it's a large map where there's like things you need to do, and I can see it doing that where you have like a band of 5 humans trying to make certain things happen while the Terminator moves around. But I have a very hard time believing that it'll be open world, because otherwise, why would you not be like, I'm going to be a Terminator, I'm just going to hunt everyone down? Like,
I feel like I've asked you this before. Do you consider Spider-Man PS4 to be open world?
No, I would consider that,
or even Fallen Order, very large maps.
Well, I guess it depends on your definition of.
That's what
open world. I guess I would.
I would say no because it's just stuck to the main island of New York.
Yeah, but then what would you call? I lost the name of the game.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Vice City.
What would you call the one?
Or
the cowboy one?
Grand Theft Auto?
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Red Dead Redemption. Like
I'd call that open world, but that's much more than Spider-Man has. Way more. I think you can even go to like Mexico with that. Like you could leave the country in that game and go to another country.
Okay, well then, what about all the Grand Theft Autos then? Because I mean, you're pretty much confined to a city.
Yeah, and that feels open world to me, but that's just a giant
or even
map.
the Division. The Division is.
The Division is a giant map, right? Like,
so I guess
we
I would
should
say
probably
Spider-Man
dig into
is
that.
open
I guess.
world.
Okay, I guess it's. I guess it's open world in the fact that it's not a linear. you beat a level, you go to the next level. You beat that level, you go to the next level, and the game's over. You know, that's you could go around and do things.
I mean, in Grand Theft Auto 5, even in the jet, it still takes you like 5 minutes to fly around that map. It's so big.
I just think
I think that's something we should dig into
fits it.
more. Like, what's your
fits.
definition of open world? So, very excited for everything here on the rundown. Nothing here has me like, oh, which is nice to say, you know.
Who's ever said, oh?
Yeah, me. I say it all the time. This week was a mishmash of like semi big news. Again, with Comic-Con coming up, people are holding their cards close to the vest. Is that the saying?
Close to the chest.
You know, I did get a question over the weekend from a listener. We're gonna wait till Comic-Con to cover the there was some trailers released last week for Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power, Black Adam, and Shazam: Fear of the Gods, but they were like teasers for what's coming up at Comic-Con, and really only the Lord of the Rings teaser was all new content, but it was just like one long scene of what's coming in the trailer. So I didn't want to cover that and then in 2 weeks cover Comic-Con doing the same thing. So we're gonna wait on that. We're gonna put a pin in it, and then we're gonna take this other pin, and that pin of Peter Weller in Robocop. Something else Peter Weller was in 1984, The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension, early 80s sci-fi movie. And that takes us to the Nerd Box from Tracy Bitner, who says, which of these 80s sci-fi movies deserves a reboot? And if you were the director of the reboot, how would you make it special? And he gives us 4 options. First being Buckaroo Banzai, starring Peter Weller. Or in your new movie, if you're making it better, how would you make it special? Probably don't have Peter Weller in it. Yeah, because it's a reboot. Either way, the other option, Flash Gordon, Last Starfighter, or Masters of the Universe. And I'm going to kick it right on over to Eric because he was very excited about this question. So Eric,
I think Brett, you were too, right? I think you were
I thought it was a good question.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good question.
You had the
I was exceptionally enthusiastic. Like I got a preview of this question, not a Loki Boney enthusiastic level, but
very
close. I will say it's close.
A Loki Chubb.
Loki Chubb.
I actually find this question quite intriguing. So my answer to this is yes. So which of these 80s sci-fi yes, all of them actually deserve, like if we're gonna go back in time and redo all this stuff, or we're gonna do some sort of nostalgia deal and re-flesh it out. The Buckaroo Banzai, I was not into it. I didn't get into it when it came out in '84. I watched it, but I think I was only 8 at the time or something like that. So I don't remember that one, but age-wise doesn't really matter. I loved Flash Gordon. I loved the soundtrack to Flash Gordon with Queen. I mean, their stuff was just awesome. That one is in dire need of a modern retelling, for sure.
For sure.
The last, so my answer to this is gonna be The Last Starfighter, but I'm gonna skip over it and go to Masters of the Universe. I love He-Man. We had dinner on Saturday night at Totally 80s Pizza, and they had a bunch of stuff from He-Man, Skeletor, and all that stuff. Trapjaw, Man-at-Arms, Battle Cat, all that stuff. I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot how much I loved He-Man. And I actually, again, maybe it's a bad movie, but I actually liked the '80s Masters of the Universe movie. Like,
I liked it too.
It was
Yeah,
it was
awesome.
it was fun. You know, it was
Yeah.
a fun movie, and I'd love to see that one be remade. I know that
With Dolph Lundgren.
well,
Yeah.
maybe with Dolph, but I gotta say, but tell me if I'm wrong. If I mean, I know he's in a role already, and it's kind of already, but isn't what's his name from Peacemaker? Wouldn't he be like John Cena? Wouldn't he be
would
like
be
a
really
great
good
He would be good.
He-Man?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
He'd be
I
good.
just feel like he would be a great He-Man, and I just think it would be fun. I think that would be a fun one to reboot. But The Last Starfighter to me has just a special place in my heart.
Yeah.
I've watched The Last Starfighter so many times. It just is a great movie. Alex, and his little brother, they were great. The whole Death Blossom deal was just so cool. And really, the first movie that had like CGI, like a lot of CGI in it. And you look back on it, and it's rough. I mean, it's really rough in certain spots, but it was great. And this is one that you could bring back, and I think you could do very, very easily. And I know for certain that they've had lots of discussions. This has been something that's come up in a lot of different discussions of people that love this movie and want to bring this property back. So I have a feeling of all four of these, I feel like The Last Starfighter probably has the best chance of being retold, or the next generation type deal. And with how ubiquitous video gaming is now, I mean, back in the day it was like, hey, you throw a quarter in and you played that video game, and you grab a stack of quarters, $10 worth of quarters, and you played that stuff. Now with how well the kids are playing with video games and stuff like that, you could just put a game out on like the Xbox, and any kid in the world, like any kid that's got an Xbox and electricity, is going to be able to be on there. So
that's cool. That's a great
I
idea.
think you could redo that. You could do it like with Morgan was saying earlier about the VR. You could tie into some sort of VR nonsense. Whatever that is. I'm the Out of Touch Adults Guide to VR. Something like that, or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what VR stuff is, but it looks like it would make me sick. That's what I think. But,
Yeah, probably.
but yeah, so great question, Tracy. For me, Last Starfighter. That's mine. Brett, what about you? What do you? I desperately want to know, since you were the other one on the thread that was like, yeah.
Well, you'll be happy to know it's Last Starfighter.
All right.
It was one that I loved watching as a kid, and it was one that I think I accidentally watched, wishing it was Star Wars, and I liked it just as much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was one that my mom's like, oh, he loves watching the X-Wings and all that. I think she's like, I could probably get him to shut up for 2 hours if I throw this. And so I liked it. I don't know what you do to make it special, because I don't want to see it like built onto the old one, because I feel like I would want it separate, because I feel like they're always working on that nostalgia, where if we build it on, then we'll bring him back as like someone who's been in the war for years, and then you'll get a cameo, and then he'll die, and then I'll hate it.
Right.
So I'd rather it built something on, and it might be a bad comparison, but I think it's a comparison I'm going to use. I think if you treated it almost like Jumanji, where it was like the board game.
No, I think that's
updated.
good. Yeah.
I don't want it to be a comedy, but I think if you were to kind of update it with that, I think you could easily transition into now. I don't want to see like Masters of the Universe, because we've seen the cartoons that they're trying to put out, and I feel like if they put it on, they're going to ruin it. And Flash Gordon is something that runs along the same lines, where I feel like it was almost very perfect in the casting and everything. And how do you bring someone else in to do that? And Buckaroo, that's one that I don't know a whole lot about.
Yeah. Peter Weller's in it.
I just learned that though.
Morgan.
Yeah, I'm going Flash Gordon on this one, and just shot for shot remake, change nothing.
That's just the same movie.
That same movie.
Doesn't make
It's
it
literally the
special.
same movie. It's an HD
Just put it back in
version.
theaters.
Yeah. That's it. It's just the same movie.
We could
Oh,
call it
wow.
a special edition and maybe bring the
Yeah.
visual effects up a little bit, but yeah.
Add in a few little scenes like they did with the Star Wars.
Star Wars, yeah.
Add in a few little things.
Yep.
Tracy, if you want to disown Morgan as a friend, it's okay.
It's totally fine.
He will.
We're fully.
He's
in
already
support of
disowned me because my 80s trivia knowledge is not what it should be.
Or your 90s. Meg,
that. Just true.
what do you got?
Just knowledge.
Meg, what do you got here? You got kind of the outsider perspective here.
I mean, I think just take any of them to make it special and add Nick Cage. No,
All of them would be better.
Love it. Love
Get
it.
Nick Cage in every part.
no, I mean, truthfully, I think any and all of them just with updated special effects. Like that's my biggest gripe with the original trilogy for Star Wars is just, it's so rough watching it, having grown up with good CGI and seeing what we can do now. So I think any of those would be fun with just better, special effects.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good
I'll
question.
go with Buckaroo Banzai. It's the only one I haven't seen on the list. So I think if it is rebooted, with this kind of a byline, the film centers upon the efforts of the polymath, Dr. Buckaroo Banzai, a physicist, neurosurgeon, test pilot, and rock star, to save the world by defeating a band of interdimensional aliens called Red Lectroids from Planet 10. The film is a cross between the action adventure and science fiction film genres and also includes elements of comedy and romance. All of that right there sounds like a badass movie if it's made today.
Sounds like that dart game that we just talked about.
Got Jeff Goldblum.
Nick Cage, absolutely.
Nick Cage, right? That.
I mean, listen to this cast. So you had Peter Weller, Ellen Barkin, John Lithgow, Jeff Goldblum, and Christopher Lloyd. Carl Lumbly is in there. Clancy Brown. Jonathan Banks. That's a banger of a cast that maybe I just was a little bit before my time and I just didn't see it. But that sounds like something I need to check out because that's an awesome cast, awesome plot line or byline. And if you do that in today's world with the technology we have, you can really make that. And it sounds almost a little like Guardians of the Galaxy-ish kind of deal.
Sounds like Justin Bieber. That's what it sounds like.
Don't know what he means.
Okay.
Well,
It's a rock star.
it made me think of there is like a guy like in real life. It's this dude. He's a Navy SEAL, former Navy SEAL. Johnny Kim is his name, and like okay, this is his Wikipedia. Jonathan Yong Kim, born 5 February 1984, also called Johnny Kim, is an American U.S. Navy lieutenant commander and former SEAL, physician, and NASA astronaut.
That's pretty good. That's
Yeah.
good rap.
What was he being fed as a kid?
Right. I'm like, okay, I've seriously underachieved. Like, I look at this guy and all I do is feel shame. Like,
Wow, it's just not fair in life. There's some things that just aren't fair. Wow, great answers all around. Hopefully that satisfied your lust for an answer on that, Tracy. And again, thank you for commenting on the YouTube videos. That is really awesome of you. So just really appreciate it. Good to have y'all back. Brett, it's been 4 or 5 months since you last were on. So thank you for hopping on here in the summertime. Now that you got some more time on your hands. We're going to go hop on the presents. We're going to review Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I cannot wait to see just how different our opinions are from each other on this. So once you're done listening to this, go listen to that. Leave a like. Subscribe if you haven't. And with that being said, see you all next week on the Nerd Rundown.
So